CS442 Week 6, let's take a look at the schedule. Here we are, Week 6. You should finish off Module 5 this week, so that's finishing off functional programming using Haskell as an exemplar. Next week is Module 6. I haven't published Module 6 yet. As usual, I promise it'll be there in time for you to use it. You don't need anything to do with Module 6 right now. Module 6 is on logic programming and query programming in general. Also due this week is Assignment 2. Hopefully you are mostly done with Assignment 2 by now. And Exam 2 will become available on Wednesday. Exam 2 is on the first half of Module 5 and all of Module 4. So again, the exams are on everything since the previous exam, not including what's in the current week. So Module 4, first half of Module 5 are on Exam 2. Remember, the first half of Module 5 is up to Section 10, not including Section 11, but including Section 10. I'd like to once again say, if you are a grad student in CS642 and you have not yet talked to me about what your final project is going to be, now's the time. I'm not setting a deadline on when you have to agree with me about the final project, but you certainly have to before the final project is due, so better to get that agreement early rather than late. Do come talk to me if you're a graduate student in CS642. Also, so Assignment 2, you saw, was entirely in Smalltalk. Assignment 3 is now available on the course webpage, and you can see it builds on Assignment 2. Assignment 3 is build a more complete functional language with lazy evaluation and the I/O monad. In fact, we're building a sort of terrible version of Haskell. And since that builds directly on Assignment 2, you might be afraid that everything is going to build on everything previous. That's not how it works. I mentioned in the course introduction that my goal was to make the ill-fitting language of Smalltalk and OCaml fit with each of the paradigms we're going to look at. Well, Smalltalk is an object-oriented language, so you're using it to implement functional languages. When we get to object-oriented languages, you'll be using OCaml to implement that. But before we get to object-oriented languages, there's logic languages, and you'll be using OCaml for that too. So we are basically done after Assignment 3 with the Smalltalk section of the implementation of assignments in this course. Then you'll be doing OCaml. The last assignment, you have the choice. You're allowed to use either. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what the last assignment is going to be right now, but you'll be able to use either of them. So each assignment is building interpreters based on one of the paradigms we've seen, but I'm choosing the ill-fitting one. The only reason Assignment 3 builds so much on Assignment 2 is that the lambda calculus is essentially a functional language, and so if you build a more complete functional language, well, it's gonna be based on the lambda calculus. That's also why we went over them in this order. So things will get more different. Anyway, that's Assignment 3. Finish Assignment 2 first. If you did well on Assignment 2, you should be able to sort of transition directly into Assignment 3 because it actually builds directly on it, but future assignments aren't always going to build in that way, so if you didn't do as well, don't be concerned that you're sort of snowballing and won't be able to do any of the future assignments. That's it for this week. See you next week. Thanks for watching.